Right now, something extraordinary is happening inside your body that most people never know about. Trillions of your cells are standing at a crossroads, making a decision that shapes everything ahead. That decision will determine how fast you age, how well you feel, and how long you stay healthy. And here is the part that is almost impossible to believe when you first hear it. Those cells are not making that decision randomly. They are waiting for a signal from you. A message that tells them whether to fight, repair, rebuild, or whether to quietly give up. Every single time you eat, you send that signal, whether you realize it or not. Every meal, every snack, every sip of something with calories is a direct message to your cells. But what if choosing not to eat could send an entirely different and far more powerful signal? Not a signal to slow aging down, not to pause it, but to actually reverse it. Scientists once believed these biological changes were completely permanent and could never ever be reversed. Stay with me because what I am about to share is rarely discussed outside of research labs. Once you understand this completely, you will never think about hunger the same way again. Most people hear the words intermittent fasting and immediately picture someone skipping breakfast to lose weight. They think it is a dieting trend, something you try for a few weeks before quitting. That misunderstanding is like looking at a Ferrari and saying it is useful just for carrying groceries. Technically true, but you are completely and entirely missing the most important point of all this. The real story of intermittent fasting does not happen on a scale or in a mirror. It happens deep inside your cells, in molecular pathways that directly determine how fast you age.
To understand why fasting is so powerful, you must first understand one critical biological fact about yourself. Your cells have a biological age that has almost nothing to do with your actual birthday. You could be 45 years old but have cells that function like they belong in someone older. Or you could be 60 with cells so clean and efficient they perform like someone 15 years younger. Researchers at the University of Southern California discovered something that should genuinely stop you in your tracks. People who followed a specific fasting protocol for just a few cycles reduced their biological age measurably. Not their calendar age, but their actual biological age by an average of 2.5 years. That's the age written into your DNA methylation patterns and reflected in your immune cell function. The age that determines whether your 70s look like hiking mountains or managing daily medications instead. 2.5 years of biological aging completely erased, and that is just the beginning here. To understand how this is even possible, picture your body as a massive and endlessly running factory. This factory operates 24 hours a day, every single day, without ever fully shutting down at all. Your mitochondria run the energy department, converting nutrients into fuel that powers every single thought you have. Your autophagy system manages the cleanup crew, identifying and removing all damaged components and broken proteins daily. Your immune system acts as the security team, constantly patrolling and catching threats before they become crises. Your stem cells run the maintenance division, always ready to repair damage and replace worn-out parts.
Your DNA repair mechanisms serve as quality control, constantly checking your genetic code for errors and fixing them. When you are young, every single department works at peak efficiency, and the results are truly beautiful. Your body heals fast, feels strong, resists disease naturally, and ages slowly without you even noticing it. But here is the part that changes absolutely everything, and it surprised me deeply when I understood it. The factory does not start failing because it is broken or because of bad genes or bad luck. It deteriorates because your body, in its ancient wisdom, decides it simply does not need to work hard. When food is constantly coming in from the moment you wake until the moment you sleep each day, your body switches into abundance mode, a state where urgency completely disappears and pressure no longer exists. It is like telling factory workers that resources are unlimited and there is absolutely no pressure anymore. And what happens in any workplace when pressure disappears and resources feel completely unlimited and endless always? Things get sloppy. The cleanup crew stops being thorough, leaving cellular debris piled up quietly in corners. The security team starts missing real threats and sometimes turns against your own healthy tissue instead. This creates the conditions for autoimmune problems, chronic inflammation, and a body that slowly works against itself. The maintenance division slows down, taking far longer to fix damage and sometimes ignoring it completely altogether. the energy department starts producing power less efficiently while generating far more toxic waste inside your cells. Scientists call these toxic molecules reactive oxygen species, and they spread through your cells like rust through metal. By the time you reach 80, your cells produce 50% less of a molecule called NAD+. NAD+ is essentially the currency your cellular cleanup crew uses to do its most important job. Half the currency means half the cleanup, and half the cleanup means junk builds up dangerously fast inside. Damaged proteins that should have been recycled years ago just sit there, clogging every system you have. Malfunctioning mitochondria that should have been removed long ago keep taking up precious space inside your cells. Inflammatory debris that should have been cleared piles up like garbage that never ever gets taken out. And the most alarming thing is that this has been happening inside your body silently for years. Unlike a broken bone that screams at you right away, cellular aging is completely and utterly silent. You do not feel your mitochondria getting sluggish or your energy systems slowly losing their natural efficiency. You do not sense your telomeres getting shorter with every single cell division happening inside your body. Telomeres are the tiny protective caps on the ends of your chromosomes, like tips on old shoelaces. They fray and shorten with every cell division, and you never feel it happening inside you. Until one day, you do notice something has changed, and you cannot quite explain what happened. You get tired more easily than you used to, and recovery from simple things takes much longer. You recover slower from workouts that once felt easy, and injuries linger far longer than they should. Your doctor mentions inflammation markers in your blood work that were simply not there before this year. Your energy just isn't what it used to be, and nothing you try actually helps anymore.
This is exactly where intermittent fasting enters the story, not as a diet, but as a language your body already knows fluently, one it evolved to speak over millions of years of history. Your ancestors did not eat constantly because they simply could not. Feast and famine was simply life itself. Your body built sophisticated and elegant mechanisms, not just to survive those hungry periods without food available. It actually learned to use those periods to clean house, to optimize systems, and to grow stronger. Intermittent fasting sends that ancient signal again, and what happens next is nothing short of truly remarkable. In the first hours after your last meal, roughly hours 0 through 6, everything feels completely normal still. Your body is still comfortably cruising on fuel from that last meal. Blood sugar is stable here. Insulin is circulating normally. Your liver is processing nutrients, and your factory is running standard operations quietly. Nothing unusual yet. Your body has no reason to shift into anything different or new at all. But around hours 8 through 12, a quiet but very important shift begins happening deep inside you. Your body starts recognizing that no more food is coming in, and something ancient begins to stir. Blood sugar begins drifting down toward its natural baseline level as your last meal slowly fades away. Insulin, that critical hormone that signals abundance and tells cells to store everything, begins to fall now. This drop in insulin is one of the most important things that can happen during any fast. When insulin is high, the message to every cell is clear. Resources are plentiful, store everything now. When insulin falls, an entirely different and far more powerful biological program begins waking up inside you. Around hours 12 through 16, a protein called AMPK, your body's low fuel sensor, activates with strength. AMPK is like a stern but wise supervisor walking through the factory with a completely new set of instructions. We are running on reserves now. The easy fuel is gone. Everyone must become far more efficient. At the same time, your fat cells begin releasing stored energy that has been sitting there waiting. Your body starts making a powerful metabolic shift toward burning fat for fuel instead of just sugar. Most people eating constantly throughout their entire day never fully make this important metabolic switch in life. During this early phase, you will likely feel hungry, maybe uncomfortable, maybe slightly irritable and restless too. This is not a warning or danger signal. It is just your body meeting something unfamiliar. It is pushing back the way any system does when its normal and comfortable routine gets disrupted suddenly. But this discomfort is not a sign to stop. It is a sign that something real is happening. If you push through it patiently, something truly remarkable and life-changing begins deep inside your cells. By weeks 2 through 4 of consistent fasting, a process activates that literally won a Nobel Prize.
It won the Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine in 2016, changing science's understanding of cellular aging forever. That process is called autophagy, and it is one of the most profound things your body does. The word means self-eating, which sounds alarming until you truly understand what it actually does for you. Imagine your cells are apartments you have lived in for decades without ever doing a deep clean. Broken furniture has piled up in corners, and appliances you meant to fix sit collecting dust everywhere inside. Damaged mitochondria that are not producing energy efficiently anymore take up valuable space inside your cells right now. Misfolded proteins that should have been disposed of years ago are still cluttering every room you have. Autophagy is your body finally calling in a professional and highly intelligent cleaning crew to fix everything. It goes compartment by compartment, methodically tagging what is broken, what is useless, and what is truly toxic. It breaks these components down to their basic molecular building blocks and disposes of what is truly harmful. And here is the genius of it. It repurposes and recycles everything useful for building entirely new components. Your cells literally consume their own junk and convert it into clean fuel and fresh raw materials. A significant study found that autophagy markers increased substantially after just 3 to 4 weeks of consistent fasting. The people in that study were not just losing weight, they were cleaning their cellular houses profoundly deep, a level of cellular cleaning that most people never access regardless of what or how they eat. But autophagy goes even further than simply cleaning up debris inside your cells over time and age. It actively destroys what scientists call senescent cells, and these deserve your absolute and complete attention right now. Senescent cells are cells that reach the end of their functional lifespan but simply refuse to die. They did not complete the normal programmed cell death process, so they just sit there doing nothing useful. They consume valuable resources, contribute absolutely nothing useful, and release inflammatory signals that damage everything nearby constantly. They are like a troublemaker who never leaves the neighborhood, causing problems for everyone around them every day. When researchers selectively removed senescent cells from aging mice, those mice extended their healthy lifespan by 25%. Not just longer lives, but genuinely healthier lives with better function and measurably younger biology throughout. Around weeks 2 through 8, you will start noticing real and meaningful changes in how you feel daily. The morning hunger that used to feel urgent and demanding begins to naturally and quietly fade away. Your energy becomes more stable throughout the day without the dramatic crashes after lunch that used to drain you. This is not willpower getting stronger. This is your actual metabolism changing in a real and fundamental way. Your body is learning to move fluidly between burning sugar when available and burning fat when necessary. Scientists call this metabolic flexibility, and it is one of the defining characteristics of a truly younger body. Children have extraordinary metabolic flexibility, but as we age and eat constantly, we lose it almost entirely. Fasting gives it back, restoring something your body had when it was young and running at its best. Meanwhile, inside your energy department, your mitochondria are being stressed in the very best possible way imaginable. The same way muscles grow stronger under the right stress, this triggers the creation of entirely new mitochondria. This process is called mitochondrial biogenesis, where your cells begin building fresh and powerful new energy engines inside. You are literally building newer, more efficient, more powerful engines inside every single cell throughout your entire body. More engines means more energy, better focus, faster recovery, and a body that simply performs far better overall. By months 3 through 6 of consistent fasting, the transformation goes even deeper than you could have imagined. Your NAD+ levels, that crucial cellular currency that steadily declines with age, begin to rise again beautifully. Fasting activates multiple biological pathways that boost NAD+ production and restore what aging had quietly taken from you. With more NAD+ available, proteins called Sirtuins, your body's longevity guardians, become dramatically and powerfully more active. Sirtuins are regulators conducting a complex biological orchestra of critical processes happening simultaneously throughout your entire body. They oversee DNA repair, keeping your entire genetic code clean, intact, and fully functional at all times. They manage inflammation, dialing down the harmful chronic inflammatory responses that silently damage your tissues every single day. They control stress resistance, helping your cells survive and adapt to challenges that would otherwise cause lasting damage. When sirtuins are working at full capacity, your cells do not just feel younger, they actually are younger, measurably, biologically younger, in ways that show up clearly in your blood work and cellular function markers. And then there is something even more astonishing, something that completely stunned the researchers who first discovered it. Your telomeres, those protective chromosomal caps that shorten with every cell division, may actually begin to lengthen again. A 2024 study found that people combining fasting with exercise showed real and measurable increases in telomere length. This completely stunned researchers who had long considered telomere shortening one of the most irreversible hallmarks of aging. Think carefully about what that actually means. Not slowing the shortening, not stopping it, but truly reversing it. Growing longer, literally unwinding the biological clock at the deepest chromosomal level of your very own DNA. Your immune system also undergoes a profound and complete transformation during this phase that changes absolutely everything too. Fasting triggers the natural death of old and malfunctioning immune cells, no longer doing their jobs properly. At the same time, it stimulates your bone marrow to generate brand new immune cells from stem cells. Your body is performing a full and complete system refresh on your immune defenses, clearing the old out entirely. This matters enormously because a dysfunctional aging immune system is one of the primary drivers of serious disease. Scientists call this inflammaging, the chronic low-grade background inflammation that silently drives nearly every age-related disease forward. It quietly damages your vessels, your brain, your joints, and your organs year after year without any notice. You never directly feel it happening until the damage is already serious and very difficult to fully reverse. Studies consistently show that long-term intermittent fasting dramatically reduces key inflammatory markers throughout your entire body consistently. It turns down the volume on the inflammatory noise that steadily and silently ages every system you have. And then there is the mTOR pathway, perhaps the most elegant piece of this entire remarkable biological story. mTOR is a protein complex that controls cell growth, division, and protein synthesis throughout your entire body. When always switched on from constant eating, your cells are locked permanently in a non-stop growth mode. They build, multiply, and synthesize without stopping, but they never pause to clean up or repair anything. It is all construction and zero maintenance, and that imbalance is one of the core drivers of aging. When mTOR cycles between active and inactive, which regular fasting creates, your body finally finds its natural rhythm. You get what a young, healthy body does naturally, alternating beautifully between periods of growth and deep repair, building and cleaning, expanding and optimizing, the precise rhythm your biology was perfectly designed for from the very start. The constant on state is a purely modern invention, a product of a world where food never ends. Your cells are paying a quiet but very real and enormous price for it every single day. By months 6 through 12 and beyond, people who fast consistently begin to describe something beyond physical metrics. They feel genuinely different, more resilient when illness arrives, bouncing back from infections far more quickly than before, more energetic, running on a steady and dependable fuel supply that does not peak and dramatically crash anymore. Better sleep, falling asleep more easily each night and waking genuinely and fully rested every morning. A more stable mood, fewer dramatic emotional swings, less anxiety and less irritability throughout the entire day now. These are not people convincing themselves they feel better through wishful thinking or simple placebo effects alone. These are the real-world consequences of cells that are cleaner, more efficient, and measurably younger inside. For decades, scientists believed aging was a one-way street with no real possibility of reversal whatsoever. You are born, you grow, you peak somewhere in your 20s or 30s, and then you slowly decline. The very best medicine could offer was slowing that inevitable decline and buying a few extra healthy years. But the research of the last decade has completely shattered that assumption from every single possible direction entirely. When Yoshinori Usumi won the Nobel Prize in 2016 for discovering the mechanisms of autophagy, everything fundamentally changed. It revealed that your cells have built-in renewal programs that allow them to genuinely regenerate and self-repair. Under the right conditions, your cells can become biologically and measurably younger, not just feel younger on the outside. Animal studies confirmed this from multiple directions, with results that were impossible to ignore or casually dismiss. Mice on fasting protocols lived significantly longer and healthier, with less cancer, better brain function, and stronger hearts. Then human studies began catching up, with results that genuinely surprised even the most experienced researchers conducting them. Reduced insulin resistance, lower inflammatory markers, and measurable increases in biological youth indicators across all tested groups consistently. In some cases, actual reversal of biological age in tissues that had already begun to seriously deteriorate noticeably. Your body is not broken, it is not your enemy, and it is not something to fight against. It is one of the most sophisticated, elegant, and powerful self-repairing systems ever to exist on this earth. It has been waiting your entire life for exactly the right signal to activate its deepest repair programs fully. 16 hours of silence is that signal. Not a punishment, not a deprivation, not a sacrifice at all. It is an ancient conversation between you and every single one of the trillions of cells inside you. Those cells already know exactly what to do the moment you finally give them the chance they need. The only question remaining is whether you are truly ready to let them do their most important work.